Good morning, East Texas. Thank you so much for joining us on the CBS 19 Plus live stream. We're live on CBS 19 Plus on YouTube and on Facebook. Thanks so much for joining us for an update on what you can expect over the next 7 days. Now, we are tracking just a few clouds filtering across the area. I do expect that we'll see a bit of a return of sunshine over the next several hours, but I have my eye on this big stationary front, which is kind of in control of our weather pattern today. Now, it's a toss-up if it's going to turn into a cold front or if it's going to kind of stay put. I do think that we'll start to see it pick up and we'll see that cold air win out over the warm air that's pushing up from the south, and that could spark a few scattered showers through the rest of the afternoon. Here's a look at your future skycast. By the time we get to 3, 4 o'clock, we could start to see a few of these showers taking shape. Now, I'm not tracking anything widespread. It will be more so a pocket of rain here and there. You may need to turn on your windshield wipers when you're coming home from work, but we're not expecting anything widespread. Rain chances are between a 20 to 30% chance through the rest of the afternoon. And again, it's not widespread. We're not tracking anything severe, but there could be an impact to you if you are heading out. You may need your umbrella, and you may just need to consider adjusting your outdoor plans in the event that one of these little popcorn showers does make its way into our area. Now, it's going to be cloudy overnight. We'll dry out sometime after 8 p.m. and then we're just going to track some pretty thick cloud cover, so a bit of a gloomy night. You won't necessarily have a good view of the moon. But if you want to see the sky, beautiful weather outside now, just some cumulus, or I should say these are some cirrus clouds that are moving through, excuse me. Otherwise, a beautiful start to the day. If you're heading out right now at about 10:37, temperatures are currently sitting about 82. Breezes are very light out of the west, and we'll keep it pretty mild for the next several hours. But the 90s are looming just over the horizon. By the time we get to 1, 2 p.m., the majority of East Texas will be above the 90-degree mark. And from there, we're looking at climbing all the way into the mid-90s this afternoon. 92 in Tyler and in Longview, 95 in Nacogdoches and in Lufkin, and then 93 if you're in Mount Pleasant. So overall, another warm afternoon. We are dealing with humidity, so it will likely feel above the century mark this afternoon. That means that your feels like forecast is somewhere around 103 in Tyler and in Longview. A few upper 90s are possible off to the west, where we're not seeing quite as much heat and quite as much humidity, but still, regardless of where you are, it is going to be a very warm afternoon. So keep these in mind. Make sure that you are hydrating. If you are outside and you're sweating under this high heat, it only takes 1 hour to sweat 2 liters of water out. So make sure that you are replenishing that liquid in your body and drinking plenty of water. Stay in the shade as much as possible, and don't forget to take frequent breaks in the air conditioning if you're outside, especially if you're doing yard work ahead of the 4th of July holiday weekend. I recommend, if you are going to be outside, try to wear light colored clothing that is lightweight and loose fitting. That way your body can stay slightly cooler out there. And don't forget to check on your pets and your children. They're more susceptible to heat related illnesses under these high heat conditions. And of course, remember to never ever leave one of your pets or your children in a vehicle that's under a warm vehicle. It can get dangerously hot, dangerously fast. That's dangerous for any length of time. So just make sure you're paying extra special attention to them and always check the back seat. The good news is tonight we drop back down to the 70s. Things will become more mild. We're going down to about 75, which is a bit above the average for this time of year. Usually we're down to about 73. We'll make it down to 73 though in Longview. Nacogdoches and Lufkin will drop to about 57, or I should say 75 overnight. A lot of this above average evening temperature is coming in because we have clouds coming in overnight. Now, it will still be pretty quiet, but it's going to be a rather mild evening. So if you want to get outside, things aren't looking too bad overnight. Now, looking ahead to tomorrow, the heat is back on, and we're going to keep it warm all the way through at least Thursday. Right now, I'm eyeing Thursday and Friday as our warmest days this week. So Thursday and then the 4th of July. So be prepared for all of these scorching temperatures. We do have a chance of rain, though, in the forecast. So looking ahead to tomorrow, we'll wake up dry conditions, lots of clouds in the atmosphere, but that should eventually clear out of here by the time most of us are heading out to work tomorrow. But by the afternoon, just like today, we'll see a few pockets of isolated showers pop up. I don't think that we'll see much in terms of lightning or hear much thunder, but everything will be rather mild through the afternoon and evening, minus those little popcorn showers, which could make it into our area. Looking ahead to Thursday, we do have a few thunderstorms that are going to get thrown our way. Those are going to come in, potentially some rumbles of thunder. We could have some downpours out of here, but not all of us are set to see rain on Thursday. And this is something new that is coming out of our most recent runs from our weather models. So we're getting in new information every hour at this point. So we'll continue to get you updated, or I should say every 3 hours at this point. But we're going to continue to keep you updated as we get more information in. Right now, that rain chance is about a 20% chance, but as we get more information, we might raise it to about a 30% chance for Thursday. So just make sure that you're staying weather aware and of course checking back with us as you're planning out your afternoon and evening plans for Thursday. After that though, we are tracking some dry weather. That comes just in time for the 4th of July, so those fireworks shows are looking good to go. However, we are dealing with plenty of heat. Now, the dry weather and the heat are all due to the same weather system, high pressure. That's building and kind of getting stuck near East Texas. It's centered off to Louisiana, so it will be a bit warmer out there. But regardless, it will be a very hot holiday here in East Texas. Here's what we're looking at right now, hour by hour. Temperatures are starting off mild, so if you're heading out early for Independence Day, we'll be somewhere in the upper 70s, low 80s. Any lunchtime cookouts or grilling you're planning to do could be kind of warm, in the 90s at that time, around 5 p.m. if you're having dinner outside. It will be in the mid 90s. Now, it is going to be a hot holiday, and a lot of us are planning to be outside on the rivers, at the pool, around the lakes in the area. So don't forget to put on your UV protection, your sunscreen, your sunblock, and of course take care of yourself because it will be a very warm afternoon. So don't forget to stay hydrated and listen to your body in case you do need to go inside and get a break. Try to find some AC. All right, if you are traveling for the holiday, something to keep in mind. There's an area that we're watching right now near Florida that heads off to parts of Georgia, coming off the coast and parts of the Carolinas there. That is our next system to watch in the Atlantic. There is about a 30% chance that we see this develop into something over the next week, according to the National Hurricane Center. What's happening is we have a bit of a cold front that's going to come through, kind of get stuck and dissolve into a bit of a spinning system out there. Now, this is still about 7, even more days out for what we're watching, but we'll continue to keep an eye on this. Again, over the next 7 or so days, about a 30% chance of rain, or a 30% chance that this develops into some sort of system. Over the next 48 hours, though, the National Hurricane Center says that we are good to go. Now, the reason why this is on the lower end is because we're tracking a layer of Saharan dust. Right now, it is crossing that part of the Gulf and parts of Florida, as well as parts of the Gulf Coast on our section of the Gulf here in Texas. Now, what this layer of Saharan dust does is it tends to suppress hurricane activity. It really doesn't allow these storms to get as big and as tall as they want because it acts almost as a cap, almost as a lid, and that is flowing directly into our area. But now keep your eye right here in Florida. We'll have a bit of a cold front. You can see it kind of arcing through there, and that's going to clear this dust out enough that we could see the potential for something to form in the Gulf in terms of some sort of tropical system. So keep that in mind if you're heading out there for the holiday. If you are staying local, that dust is headed right our direction as we head into the end of the week as well as into the weekend. Now, what this means for us, we could see our air quality go down just a little bit. So we're not tracking anything that it's going to be dangerous for you to be outside or that you really need to limit your time outside for, with the exception of those of us who have respiratory issues. So asthma, COPD, bronchitis. If that's you, you may want to limit your time outside due to this dust. Just make sure that you are checking in with yourself and making sure that you're breathing okay. Otherwise, the biggest impact that most of us will see here in East Texas, that's going to be the very vivid sunrises and sunsets. As the dust comes through, that scatters the light and creates these absolutely stunning sunrises and sunsets. So if you happen to snap any pictures of that, we would love to see it. You can send it to our email, weather at cbs19.tv. All right, but hey, switching gears off to the other side of Mexico. we are tracking our next hurricane in the Pacific. This is Hurricane Flossie. Right now, it's a Category 2 hurricane, and we've gotten an update from the National Hurricane Center. They're saying that it will build into a Category 3 major hurricane. So once it gets to Category 3 or higher, that is a different distinction from the National Hurricane Center. Category 3 or higher, we do expect that to happen sometime on Wednesday. Right now, it is off the western coast of Mexico. It's spinning near Puerto Vallarta, again off that western coast there. It is set to strengthen over the next several hours and into the next day or two. That's why we see it building into a level 3. It's feeding off of very warm water out there. Eventually, though, the track has it moving offshore and weakening into a remnant low by the time it makes it so it's even with the Gulf of California there. So we'll continue to keep you updated. Again, if you are traveling for the holiday weekend, just keep that in mind. We could see some rather rough waters across the western portion of Mexico on that western coast there. So if you are heading out for the holiday weekend, make sure that you are keeping that in mind, and of course checking on the forecast regularly so you get the latest updates on Hurricane Flossie. Locally, though, we will not see an impact from that hurricane. Instead, we are tracking heat and humidity. Hey, you know, it's July in East Texas. This is the type of forecast we typically see. It'll be in the mid-90s this afternoon. Overnight lows are only making it into the mid-70s, so it will be just a bit on the warmer side overnight. Keep that in mind if you're heading out for any dinner plans. We're not necessarily going to get a big cool down until later in the evening, closer to sunrise. We jump into the upper, or should I say the mid-90s Wednesday. 96 though Thursday and Friday. Those are our warmest days out of the next 7. Remember, 96 on the 4th of July. So just to make sure that you are staying hydrated. Again, a lot of us are planning to be outside on Independence Day. So please make sure that you are taking care of yourself, because it will be one of our warmest days. So far in 2025, our warmest day has been 94 degrees. So if we do hit that 96 mark, which I feel pretty confident that we will, it'll be one of the hottest days, if not the hottest day of 2025 so far. So make sure that you are drinking plenty of water, and of course, just checking on your children and your pets and checking in with your body to make sure that you don't experience any heat-related illness. Over the weekend, it's still going to be hot. We'll still feel lots of humidity. We're looking at feels like temperatures in the triple digits for the majority of East Texas. Monday, though, things change ever so slightly. We do have a bit of a pattern change. We have a little system that's going to breeze by, potentially bring us a chance of some scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. About a 30% chance of rain right now. That will drop our temperatures ever so slightly, but hey, you know, I will take 94 over 96. Overall, a very warm and humid week. Remember, if you see a bit of haze over the horizon, that's just that layer of Saharan dust coming through, just to make sure that you are staying hydrated. And again, if you snap any pictures of the sunrises or of that haze, you can send it to our email, whether at CBS19.tv. Thank you so much for joining us for this CBS 19 Plus live stream. We hope you have a phenomenal Tuesday and a phenomenal holiday weekend.